So we've all played Baldur's Gate 3. Maybe you've even sunk an unhealthy number of hours into it. Don't worry, we've all been there. You fought your way through goblins, romanced a vampire spawn, probably, and rolled more nat ones than you'd care to admit. But what if I told you that you've barely scratched the surface of what this game could be? Enter Home Brew Comprehensive Reworks, the mod that doesn't just tweak Baldur's Gate 3, it completely overhauls it. We're talking Baldur's Gate 4 level changes here. This isn't just some slapdash collection of random tweaks. This mod has been in the works for over a year. Hundreds of late night modding sessions, countless cups of coffee, and a thriving community on Nexus have brought us what is as of now the largest mod available for the game. And trust me, by the time we're done here, you'll be downloading this mod faster than Shadowheart can roll her eyes. So what makes Homebrew Comprehensive Reworks so special? Well, it all boils down to three simple rules the creator followed during development: balance, polish, and fun. First off, balance. Every single change in this mod applies to both you, the player, and the NPCs. That means that the new mechanics, passives, and reworks added don't just make you overpowered, they also make your enemies way more interesting to fight. Secondly, polish. I mean the kind of polish where everything looks and feels like it could have been part of the base game itself. We're talking new abilities, items, and even entire new systems that blend so seamlessly you'd think Larian Studios snuck out a stealth patch. And finally, fun, because let's be real, if a mod doesn't make the game more fun, why even bother? This overhaul isn't just about slapping a million features into the game just for the sake of it. Every addition, every tweak is designed to expand your choices and give you a ridiculous amount of freedom. But what really sets this mod apart is the sheer scope. We're talking hundreds of hours of work, thousands of changes, and a small but mighty community over on Nexus helping to refine every little detail. So now that we know what makes this mod so special, let's break it down piece by piece, starting with the one thing that makes every D&D nerd like us weak at the knees: classes. If you've ever looked at the classes in Baldur's Gate 3 and thought, this is great, but what if it had more of everything? Then Homebrew Comprehensive Reworks is about to make your day. Every single class in the game has been rebuilt from the ground up. I'm not talking about a few tweaks here and there, this is a full-on revamp. Unique passives and actions have been handcrafted for each class, and they've been designed to make you feel like your character is genuinely growing stronger every step of the way. Subclass choices are now available at level 1, and the customization doesn't stop there. At levels 2, 6, and 10, you'll be presented with a list of 20 unique passives tailored specifically to your class. You can pick 2 of these at each milestone, and that's over 200 passives in total. But here's where it gets really interesting. The NPCs get in on the action too. The game assigns these class passives to your enemies at random, which means that every combat encounter feels fresh. This randomness doesn't just make combat more challenging, it keeps you on your toes, forcing you to adapt to entirely new scenarios. On top of that, new actions, reactions, and status effects have been introduced to complement these passives. The result? Dozens, no, hundreds of new strategies to experiment with. And we're just getting started. Let's take a look at spells. First off, every single spell in the game has been reworked. Yes, you heard that right, every single one. This includes full integration of the 5e spells mod by Diz91891. Special shout out to them for their incredible work, by the way. This means you now have access to an additional 40 cantrips and 200 spells. And now every spell supports both upcasting and downcasting. So instead of having to wait until later levels to get the cooler spells, you can choose any spell as early as level 1. They're all balanced across 6 different variations, meaning they scale with you without completely breaking the game. This overhaul isn't just about throwing a bunch of flashy effects at you. These spell changes are designed to add utility in and out of combat. And with 200 new spells to choose from, no 2 builds are ever going to be exactly the same. Now here's where things get even more interesting. NPCs can also use these spells. The AI is surprisingly good at using these spells creatively, which means you'll need to rethink your own strategies. A goblin with an upcast fireball, that's a thing now. Enjoy. Initiative rolls are now a d20 instead of a d4, which adds a nice touch of unpredictability. Reactions are visible on the hotbar at all times, so no more fumbling around trying to remember what you've got up your sleeve. And scrolls, they're now available for every spell in the game, including the new ones. Now let's talk about feats, those little upgrades that usually make you go, yeah, I guess I'll take this one because the others seem worse. Well, Homebrew Comprehensive Reworks takes that system, throws it out the window, and replaces it with something so good you'll actually get excited about hitting a feat level. First off, every single feat in the game has been completely reworked. Yep, all of them. Every single one is now viable, allowing you to now dip into other class passives without fully multi-classing. But as you probably expect, NPCs get feats now too, so the enemies you're facing are also benefiting from this same system. You can't have all the fun. At the same levels that you unlock feats, they also get them too, and they're assigned randomly, so this means that every battle has the potential to surprise you. Alright, it's time to talk about gear, because let's face it, nothing beats the feeling of finding an epic piece of loot that makes your character just a little bit more unstoppable. But if you've ever felt like half the gear in Baldur's Gate 3 is either useless or just kind of there, this mod has you covered. It completely overhauls every single piece of gear in the game. Yes, every single piece. We're talking about 500 plus items, all reworked to feel viable, exciting to find, and most importantly, balanced. Now the changes here go way beyond just bumping stats or adding flashy effects. Gear has been redesigned to interact with the mod's new systems, like class passives and feats. Gear isn't just gear anymore, it's a part of your strategy. And plus, as you progress through the game, the more powerful the loot you find becomes, giving a true sense of progression. And this wouldn't be a proper overhaul without new types of items, right? Enter Discordant Instruments, an incredible addition originally created by Umbral Jewels, now fully incorporated into this overhaul. These new trinkets offer a completely new layer of customization, blending seamlessly with the rest of your equipment to give you even more ways to tweak your build. And again, just like with the spells and the feats, NPCs also benefit from these gear changes. They'll randomly equip reworked items, which means your enemies won't just look more intimidating, they'll actually be more intimidating. Now let's talk about creatures and races. In this mod, every single creature, NPC, and playable race has been completely reworked by hand. In vanilla Baldur's Gate 3, race choices are interesting, but don't always feel like they fundamentally change how you play. Well, that's out the window now. Each race now provides powerful, balanced boons that actually impact your gameplay. Enemies no longer feel like generic mobs with slightly different names and health bars. Thanks to the mod's integration of class passives, feats, and spells, every enemy now has unique actions, reactions, and abilities. Enemies are smarter, tougher, and way more fun to fight. This overhaul also extends to the little details. New passives, new actions, and over 100 new wild magic effects have been added to keep you on your toes. In short, this isn't just some gameplay tweaks, it's a full transformation. NPCs, enemies, races feel like they're playing the same game as you, which makes the world feel more alive and reactive. It kind of makes you think, why wasn't this in the base game to begin with? And let's not forget the community-driven heart of it all. The mod's creator didn't just throw this together in isolation. They've spent over a year refining it, incorporating feedback, and collaborating with other talented modders whose contributions help take things to a whole new level. This isn't just one person's vision, it's a collective effort. Big shout out and congratulations to everyone involved, and check the description for more details. Oh, and don't forget to check out the subreddit, BG3 Home Brew. It's a growing hub for sharing builds, discussing the mod, and finding other players to potentially team up with. Check it out, let me know in the comments what you think of this one. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.